and that was one of the funniest things is a gentleman down the way had an HDR booth. He did HDR photography. And he came down and was looking, and he'd never heard of this stuff, which I was like, really? You know, you're with art people all the time, you don't know what Scratchboard is. I didn't say it, but I was thinking it, so I explained it and turned around and looked at me, he goes, well, that explains your prices. He goes, they're very, you're actually being underpaid. And it's like, yeah, but they will pay, you know, eventually. But my biggest thing is I still don't think I'm where I need to be to get out there and hit it full force. I've only been doing this since 2008, and I've got a long way to go to get to where I think I need to be.
But exposure works, well, once in a while, it's kind of a nice thing.
I have another.
Because the kudos are what helps keep everyone going. They really are.
The most enjoyable thing in the whole situation at the art fair is when he's 12 years old, I think, 11 years old, hanging on every word. I learned that I sat there, I couldn't sit down and work on a piece, which I planned on because I had to explain what everything was all the time.
Yeah.
But I sat there and took about half an hour explaining to this young gentleman, because everything was yes sir, no sir. Showed him how everything from transferring the drawing to the full process, you know, mom used a sewing needle, you know, when you need a sharp instrument, you know, knife or whatever. And it was a half an hour later when the lady walked in and bought, you know, to me it's not karma, but yes.
It is karma. It's definitely karma. If you are out there trying to sell your work and you just have to fight with your spouse, it ain't happening. It is hard. I had one bad art show where we were trying to unload things and we had gotten this big trailer behind our big pickup truck, kind of close to where the booth was. And we were emptying out all the legs from the tent, and one of them rolled over into the space next to us, and they had just gotten there, and the lady said, "Excuse me, you're infringing on my space." And it went downhill from there. She was the bitch from hell. She had to have been menopausal, and she didn't know it, but everybody else did. And I finally, when I got the booth set up, and she came back in to say something else to me, I said, "Get out of here," and I didn't want to see your face ever again. But it got me in such a ball that I was a mess that day, and then I realized what I had done to myself, because I had never had that happen before. And I had to clear my mind and go, you have karma in your work. Yes, it's all totally related. What you have in you comes out in the work. What you have in you when you're selling the work comes out at the same time.
I've discussed that with a couple hours before. If I'm not in a good mood, I can't touch.
No, you need to figure out how to get yourself in a good mood or have somebody else do it for you.
So how many art fairs are you doing a year?
I'm not doing many at all. I'm visiting way back.
So what is your primary marketing at this point?
It is the art fairs and it is collectors. I made a conscious decision several years ago because my age and my husband's age, we both love health issues, but I didn't want to do that anymore with stranger shows. So we got rid of all the little piddly ones that were on the fringes and just zeroed in on the ones that really produce buyers because they had a marketplace of people who had enough money and enjoy art. And by doing that, we're going to do 6 shows a year. That's all, which is not going to be again as past. But at every show, instead of just thinking about how much art I'm selling there, which is what I did in the beginning, trying to cover expenses in the beginning, you know, everybody begins somewhere and you set these little goals for yourselves. My goal became 3 years ago. At every show, I had the intention of establishing a new collector who would then be coming back and buying more from me. And I've been on track. And man, it's good.
And you sell a few reproductions, but most of what you sell is original.
Actually, 1/3 of what I sell is reproductions. When I sit down and write down every show, 1/3 of it is reproductions. But my reproductions start from being $25 a time. So I am not really.
And they're all limited. You're all limited.
100, 190.
Do you want to finish price?
No, actually, what I do, I do one big multiple sign that choice also. I started off in the old signed and numbered limited editions deal where you printed 1,500 to get 1,000 bookings. You had to go through them and call them all, and then you sat and sequentially numbered them, and you documented and you did the whole 9 yards. Today, they're on demand. You can have one sample, you can even have a brochure, that's all you need to have, if they can see what the quality of the work is. And for a while, I only marketed them on paper, small enough to fit in my bin, and then on canvas, the same size as the originals. That was my decision, and then I thought, how am I doing that? People have different size walls, they have different needs. No, I won't go down below a certain size, because that gets to be kind of silly. And that buyer probably is not going to stop in and everything that wants something $100. So I offer a range of sizes of things. Certain ones can't go up higher than a certain size. And it's worked beautifully because everything is basically a custom print.
Do you ever do a reproduction larger than an original?
It's very difficult to do, but I do have, the guy that does my stuff has a pre-scanner. And if he does it in 300 dpi and he scans it, and I just have to make sure he does that, he can. It can go up to billboard size. I've had a
I'm
billboard.
just curious if you would, ethically, if you would, or.
Yes, okay, yeah, not a problem if it's going to be produced right, and if it's going to be the proper place for it, would be, and would be my decision. So, yes.
I would think especially for like Scratchboard, since it is so.
Oh, it blows up beautiful.
Well, I mean, just the time constraint associated with it. If you're, you say, okay, I don't wanna make it bigger, but really in the market, you're not getting your money back from the time that you spend on it, then why not
Well,
go smaller and go bigger, if it can be
yeah,
done?
well, it
So
can-
you're saying you do 100 prints, but some of them might be 8 by 10, some of them might not, that's.
It's all in the same, what I do, the way that I, show them is through my little brochure, which hopefully are really close to the top here. And I show them my format. These are my 1x1 format prints. In other words, it's 1 foot by 1 foot, or 3 foot by 3 foot. And I display them all together like that. And then I offer the pricing on each of the different sizes and whether they're on paper or on canvas, and I only market them mounted. I do not market them without the amount of rubber destroyed. And on the canvas now, I'm going to take away the rolled canvas and I will market it only mounted on gator foam instead of stretched. I'm just learning how
What
it
are you
works.
mounting the paper ones on?
Sintra, it's a black plastic. It is archival, it will not break down, PVCs. And then after they're laminated on that, they have a laminate put on the surface of them. That's a moisture and UV protectant.
Before you go, I know you have some in your hand.
Yes,
Curious to
yes,
see.
yeah. And what happens with that too, I sign my signature in gold, and it's on a gel pen, and sometimes it googles. So I found that I can use Glue Gun, and you know how caustic Glue Gun is and what it can do, and just erase my signature, and it doesn't touch any of the surface because the UV light on it is phenomenal. So basically, it's an indestructible print when it's done.
And you do those yourself, or you have them
Oh, no,
commercially
no, no.
printed?
I have Pure Energy doing them in Houston. I started off doing small reproductions, and putting them in little mats and putting them in little clear packs and all that. And